On today's Daily Slab, we are going to look at Mookie Betts' interesting season. We're also going to look at an interesting coaching comparison for cards. Yes, coaching comparison. And we are going to look at an off-center, one of one that was just pulled. Or is it off-center? We'll find out more on today's Daily Slab. Welcome everyone to the Daily Slab. I am Nate, and our trender for today is Mookie Betts. Now, Mookie obviously has been one of the best players in all of baseball since he entered the league in 2014. He started out as a second baseman, right, in the minor leagues, but with the presence of Dustin Pedroia, he moved to the outfield because he wasn't planning a Red Sox great. That just wasn't going to happen. So he moved to the outfield, and the rest was history. Until this year, he would randomly play, infield here or there, having grown up as a second baseman in the minors, but by and large, outfielder by trade. And then this year happened, and he has now played, before Wednesday's game, I'm recording this, he has played 20 different games in the infield, 12 at second base, and 8 at shortstop for the Dodgers. In fact, those 8 games at shortstop are the most he's played since age 19. In fact, age 20, he only had 2 innings at shortstop, so that doesn't even really count. So he hasn't played since age 19, and he is 30 now, playing shortstop again for the first time in 11 years. And this new-fangled Mookie Betts, who is versatile, is valuable. He is very valuable. He's been worth 1.9 Baseball Reference wins above replacement on the year. So being able to move positions from the outfield to the infield has added an increased value to him. And this has come at the perfect time because his bat has struggled, quote unquote. Not that his bat has struggled because Mookie Betts is still Mookie Betts. He's still a very good hitter. But between the years of 2018 and 2020, he had a above 900 OPS every single year. In fact, one of those years he had over 1,000 OPS. So Mookie Betts was a feared middle-of-the-order hitter, despite being, 5'9" and maybe 170 pounds. Well, these last 3 years, he has had an OPS under 900 every single year in the 800s. And this year, he's at 845. And he's also at a 125 OPS plus, which would both be the lowest he's been at since 2017. That's not to say those aren't good. Those are good numbers. He's still been worth 2 Baseball Reference wins above replacement. He's still on pace to go past 5, maybe 6, maybe 7 wins above replacement on the year, right? So he has been incredible on the season. But compared to what he had done before, it is somewhat of a disappointment, but then you add in, hey, he can play shortstop, hey, he can play second base now. All of a sudden, there's more added value in the defensive spectrum where he's consistently giving you value that you might not be getting if he's just playing outfield and putting up these numbers. And so you look at his card here, his Bowman Chrome Blue Auto BGS 9.5 from 2014, and you can see it's down 30%. And you might say to yourself, but he's been worth 2 wins above replacement. He's still good. He's still putting up north of 800 OPS. He's still 25% better than league average. But as we know, defense doesn't pay the bills, and you're always going to be compared to what you were before. And since he's not as good of a hitter as he was before, at least not through the first couple months of the season, and he's now a lot of value from defense, you can see why and how this would drop the 30% it has in the last 6 months. So hopefully Mookie Betts returns to his 2018 to 2020 form, and we see some rebounds there. But if he doesn't, he's still a very, very valuable player, even if it doesn't show up in the card market. Next up is our post of the day. So you've got a Ted Lasso NBC promo card from Topps, which shows him in Tottenham outfit there. And that sold for $700 the other day. That's a very expensive card. And then you have Carlo Ancelotti, not 100% sure, one of the best UEFA Champions League managers of all time, if not the most decorated manager of all time, selling an auto number to 50 from Immaculate for $55. So on its head, it makes no sense. One of the best football managers of all time. $55. A fake football manager, $700. On-card auto, number to 50, Not on card, not numbered, but extremely, extremely rare nonetheless. And so you hit this point where you're like, if you're a football fan or a soccer fan or fan of sports, you're probably scratching your head and saying, what in the world is going on here? How does this make any sense? The most decorated manager, a fake manager. But I will say this for people that are questioning this. As a very, very, very casual soccer fan, I had no idea who Carlo Ancelotti was. Not a clue. Had to look him up this morning to see what he was about. I do know who Ted Lasso is. I have watched the first 2 seasons of Ted Lasso, and I will be watching the last episode of Season 3 of Ted Lasso coming up here. I probably won't have watched it by the time you are listening to this, even though it came out on Wednesday, because I don't have time, but we will watch it at some point this week, right? I know who Ted Lasso is. And though Season 3 has been kind of a drag and not very good like Season 1 and Season 2, the end seems like it's shaping up to be pretty enjoyable, even if the middle was pretty blah. So if you get people like me, you enjoy pop culture cards, you enjoy, this and that, you don't know who the other guy is, but you know who Ted Lasso is because he's in pop culture, pretty cool. Also, you know who Jason Sudeikis is. You have the actor behind the card that a lot of people know, even maybe more so than they know Ted Lasso. They will know Jason Sudeikis, and so that has an added appeal to it that maybe the Carlo does not have. So all this is to say, at least it's understandable. I think probably worldwide more people know who Carlo is because a ton of people are football fans, soccer fans, right? Compared to Ted Lasso fans, but a lot of people in America spend money on cards, and it really only takes 1 or 2 people to want a card for a card to go this high. So, while it might seem crazy, at least there is a justifiable explanation to it. All right, and then one last thing today, our second post of the day, and you've got this Paolo Banchero that just got pulled, gold vinyl from Optic, super refractor, if you want to call it, 101. And you'll notice something fishy about it. Looks pretty off-center. But is it? So Aaron posted this today and said, has there ever been something poorly off-center? And honestly, it is off-center. But if you look at some of these comparisons, I pulled just random Optic 2023 rated rookies off of Card Ladder this morning. You can see them here. They're all kind of off-center. And then you get to the one I pulled the image preview from the set checklist on Cardboard Connection. Also off-center. To the point where you say, well, is it off-center or is it just the design? And I do think it's the design, but you can tell that this Banchero is more off-center than these other ones, I suppose. But definitely interesting that it appears that Optic and Panini Optic, whatever you want to call it, they made a design that is intentionally off-center this year. So, very strange. I don't think that's the route I would go, but I guess it is a breath of fresh air, to say the least. But the Banchero still is off-center more than these other examples. But congratulations to the person that pulled that massive, massive card, and definitely a card that most of us can only dream of pulling. Alright, thank you everyone for watching today's Daily Slab. If you enjoyed this video, please click that like button, and don't forget to hit that subscribe, and I will talk to you tomorrow for the next Daily Slab. See you everyone.